So Nintendo might have a 2025 Game of the Year quality game that's going to be outside of the window for many people's Game of the Year, at least when it comes to the official awards. But Metroid Prime 4 Beyond just got a massive overview trailer where they showed off the game, the looks like final footage overall, or pretty much up-to-date footage of the Nintendo Switch 2 version, gave us more details on the characters, powers, abilities, locations, and everything. And goodness gracious, this is by far one of the best, if not the best looking game I've seen Nintendo produce of all time. And the craziest thing is that it's a Nintendo Switch 1 title brought over to the Nintendo Switch 2, but there's a lot of really great things that I want to talk about with this, and I feel that it's a must buy at this point. And I don't even think that you need to sit there and say, okay, if you haven't played Metroid Prime 1 or Metroid Prime 2 or Metroid Prime 3, I think that this game might be something that you need to experience on the Nintendo Switch 2, because there is so much stuff that I want to get into with this game. So let's just go ahead and first start off with the official overview as you guys are checking out brand new gameplay footage, and of course I'll have linked below the overview trailer so you guys can check that out. I did watch it at the 4K 60 FPS, but we got to talk about that too, because there's some other things that Nintendo once again reconfirmed for this game when it comes to the quality and what you'll be able to play it at. So after an unexpected accident, Samus finds herself transported to the mysterious planet Vuros. Scan your surroundings for clues, make the most of your equipment and weapons, and use Samus's newfound psychic abilities and her technologically advanced bike, the Viola, to traverse and explore the environment. You'll need every tool at your disposal to survive and escape Vuros. Bounty Hunter Samus Aran, one of the greatest bounty hunters in the galaxy, capable of completing any mission no matter the danger. Of course, the world, planet Vuros, an unknown planet. Samus suddenly finds herself transported to the greenery of an ancient jungle, and this was after that big showdown with Sylux, and something happened there after that first scene. We've seen that multiple times. Objective: explore the mysterious planet to find a way home. So once again, the isolation of Metroid is back and better, looking better, more like it, than ever before. Scan stone statues and ruins for clues on how to move forward. Battle abhorrent alien creatures who inhabit the planet. Powers, psychic abilities, really excited about this. These new psychic abilities look really cool. Mysterious powers that Samus acquires while exploring the planet. Wield them wisely to clear your path forward. Friend or foe, Lamorne. An alien race once existed on planet Vuros. They make solemn request of Samus, the deadly sharpshooter, Sylux, an enigmatic bounty hunter with a deep-seated grudge against the Galactic Federation and Samus. Okay, we're going to talk about these Switch 2 enhancements, which they talk about at the very end of the trailer and everything, but let's get into those right here, because I think that this is key. Whether if you have a Nintendo Switch 1 or Nintendo Switch 2, I think that the Nintendo Switch 2 version really does a lot of great things here. So aim with the Joy-Con 2 mouse controls. Play using mouse controls made possible by the Joy-Con 2 controllers or standard button controllers. Move the right Joy-Con 2 controller like a mouse to aim and navigate with greater precision. Choose your display mode. Explore Planet Vuros in greater detail with higher resolution, faster frame rate, and HDR support for more vivid colors. Go all in on visual details with quality mode, or choose performance mode to prioritize even smoother gameplay. You can choose either mode to suit your preference. So the quality mode, if you have the Nintendo Switch 2 docked, you're going to get 4K resolution at 60 frames per second with HDR. In handheld or tabletop mode, 1080p resolution, 60 frames per second with HDR. In performance mode docked, you're going to get 1080p resolution, 120 frames per second, and HDR. In handheld and tabletop mode, you're going to get 720p resolution at 120 frames per second with HDR. So people have been asking me, what mode should I play? This is kind of newfound territory when it comes to Nintendo first-party games. Most of their titles before in the past obviously do not support 4K resolutions and all that. So actually having this ability with a brand new game coming, I think this is the first one that we've seen Nintendo from a major game standpoint at least have a 120 FPS mode. So that's definitely great. And I do think that when it comes to 4K versus 1080p or whatever. I think it's really going to be based off of your display. So when I'm streaming the game, I think I'll probably go for the 120 FPS on my smaller monitor at 1080p. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference on my monitor. A 27-inch monitor or anything like that, if I'm streaming the game and you guys are watching or whatever the case is, I think I'll take that extra frame rate on my monitor, super fast response time and everything. But if I'm playing on my big 50, 60 plus inch OLED TV that I have, I think I'll probably go with the 4K resolution, as the 4K is really suited for a bigger screen and it's going to make things even look better. And 60 frames per second is still really good overall. Now, some people might disagree. They might want to go with the 120 the whole time. That's completely fine. But the fact that 60 is the low baseline, that's definitely a good thing overall. But once again, it's a Nintendo Switch 1 game brought over. Now, let's discuss some of this other stuff, because I think what makes this game so, I would say, fascinating for me is, like, I'm not big on first person, but there's a lot of adventure elements to this game. They show a lot of times that Samus is in third person as well. You have, of course, the morph ball, you have the Viola bike, and actually even they showed that in some parts you're going to be able to ride that bike anytime that you want. It's not just going to be in that desert area overall. And speaking of that area is essentially a hub to get to any of the other parts. And what I did like about what they said with this one here is that you're going to have other Galactic Federation soldiers that are also there with you, and you're going to have to assist them. They're going to assist you sometimes. They can get you upgrades if you save them. I like all of that. It really makes a compelling experience overall to me, to where, yes, it's about isolation. Yes, it's about, Samus making sure that she can, be a lone warrior and going out there. But I do like the cooperation of some of those parts overall. And I do like the fact that if you help them and you do a good job or whatever the case is, you get rewarded with some type of upgrades, which they did show a number of different things. But then they also didn't show a number of different things too, because I noticed there was different striations and different types of stuff happening with Samus's arm cannon, and they essentially did not explain those. So there's a lot of power-ups. There's a lot of mysterious things in this game. And I just personally feel that when you look at the quality of the game overall, like, I saw the cutscenes in this game, the textures, the detail, man, it looks pretty good. Now, yes, I'd say that pretty much the open world-ish area or the sand desert area, I think they had to make some concessions when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 1, but it looks smoother than ever overall. And the biggest thing is that it's running great, which, here's the thing about Metroid, guys, and I think that some people sometimes don't understand this. Nintendo, when it comes to Metroid, Nintendo is more worried about quality than anything else. They do not care necessarily about the sales, in my opinion. They care more about quality, and I think that they've been completely focused on that since the debacle when it comes to Metroid Other M and Metroid Prime Federation Force. I think after those two back-to-back debacles, they wanted to make sure that they never had another issue when it comes to the quality of a Metroid game. Any Metroid game that comes out, it's not about selling 10 million copies. It's not about anything like that. It's about providing a different style of game that adds diverse portfolio, diverse profile to their lineup of usually the family-friendly or games like that. That's why they love Bayonetta. Bayonetta does not sell crazy numbers or anything, but it provides something different to the lineup. Metroid Prime 4 provides a super high quality game that looks like it could be a 90+ rated game. Based off of the previews that I've been reading, based off of what I've seen here, this looks to be better than Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 3. This definitely looks as highest quality, if not way more, when it comes to the single player aspects of the game. It looks like they took everything that was great from Metroid Prime and put it together, then said, all right, then we're going to add some on top of that with the psychic powers and the different types of abilities, and even some of the cool stuff that I thought was pretty dope from, like, Metroid Other M when it comes to having other Galactic Federation soldiers there. They even added that into this game, and who knows what else you're going to be able to do. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a wild ride, and I'm almost positive that all the people in the development team looked or saw what the Mercury Steam Game team did with Metroid Dread and was like, we're going to have to top them when it comes to the sequence and everything with the ending part. So I do feel that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a game of the year quality type of game based off of what I'm seeing here. And I always do sometimes kind of like predictions on my live streams, like what do you think it's going to review when it comes down to it? And I said high 80s, low 90s, and I'm kind of still somewhat sticking to that, but I'm far more leaning towards it's going to be a low 90s game at this point based off of this preview. I think that the graphics, the sound quality, the performance is going to dazzle the Western reviewers overall. And Metroid Prime, when it comes to the hardcore Metroid Prime games, first-person adventure action titles, none of those have reviewed underneath. With the consoles, Metroid Prime 1, Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 3, none of those has reviewed under a 90 on Metacritic. And if you look at Metroid Prime Remastered, they reviewed that one really high as well back when that came out on the Nintendo Switch 1 in 2023. That had pretty much flawless performance on a system where people was like, oh man, the Nintendo Switch, it's like kind of getting, long in the tooth when it comes to some of these games. And there's been some issues with Pokemon and other titles. Metroid Prime Remastered comes out and it's one of the better looking games on the platform. It's a GameCube game overall. So now we actually have a game built multiple generations later when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, but then I think even finely tuned and optimized even more for the Nintendo Switch 2, because I was looking at some of those textures, resolutions, and details, not in every area, obviously not in the open sand area, but in just the game itself and some of the cutscenes and all that, and you can tell some extra sauce was put on some of those cutscenes, was put on some of those textures and details, but you can still see in some of the areas, like the jungle area and stuff, it's like, okay, yeah, definitely a Switch 1 game, but still smooth as ever. And to me, there's no reason, if you can play this game, some people are asking, should I play it on Switch 1? Should I get the Switch 2 to play it? Listen, if you're a hardcore Metroid fan and you love Metroid, there is no reason, if you can afford it and if you can get it, you don't have to stress yourself over it, but if you can get a Nintendo Switch 2, buy a Nintendo Switch 2 for this game. This will be something that you want to experience on the Nintendo Switch 2. And once again, if you have the disposable income to get it, or if you can trade in, or whatever the case is, I would absolutely do it. As long as it doesn't put you in any bad spot, I would say get it. Obviously, if you aren't a huge Metroid fan, but you're curious, you don't need to play. In my opinion, at this point, I've watched some of my other friends talk about this that are hardcore Metroid fans, like Ruler2 Review. You don't need to play everything else. Hop into this one, and then of course you can find yourself maybe playing some of the other games. Maybe Nintendo will release Metroid Prime 2 and 3 in some type of double pack. Metroid Prime 1 Remastered is already available on the Switch 1. You can play that on Switch 2, but just hop into this and get immersed in the world. It seems to be that good, and it doesn't seem like you're going to need to know, based off of the setup, based off of the overview trailer, based off of everything that I've seen right now, it doesn't seem like you're going to need to have to play Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 in order to really enjoy this. Now, of course, there's going to be a couple little things here and there. Obviously, Silex, if you play the Metroid Prime game on the Nintendo DS, Hunters as well, it's going to better suit you. But for the most part, you're not going to need to do all of that. And this could be a 90+ rated game. So Nintendo would have 2 big 90+ rated games within the first 6 months of the Nintendo Switch 2. We're in month 5 at this point. We're heading into month 6 in December, and that would be Donkey Kong Bonanza plus this game. So I do think that it has a very good chance, and there's been a lot of great games dropping. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, Kirby Air Riders is next week as of the time that I'm recording this video. Then of course Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is on December 4th. So very cool here. But once again, if you have a Nintendo Switch 2, absolutely check out this game. This is the reason why people were really wanting Nintendo to put out something like this, because now at this point, from the very launch, from the very beginning, you're going to have 120 FPS, you're going to have 60 frames per second when it comes to quality, dock performance, all that good stuff. You're going to have 4K resolutions, you're going to have a much higher quality experience that we got. And I just remember back in 2007 when Metroid Prime 3 was coming out, and we were in the HD era, and I was thinking, oh man, it would be nice if this game was in HD. It looks good and everything. They did a great job, but it would be great if there was actually an HD capable system like with Nintendo. And now finally, at this point, we have it for a launch of a brand new big numbered Metroid Prime game. We've got a full capable HD system to be able to handle what Metroid can do. So it's a great feeling overall, but I'm just excited when it comes to Metroid Prime 4. And I felt that when people were saying that, man, they need to hurry up with the marketing and all that, I'm like, listen, guys, it's coming. They just have some games that are coming out before it. When it comes to Kirby and Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, let things play out. Now we got this overview trailer. We've got people doing previews that got the chance to play the game. A lot of positive stuff. Although there are some separate previews where people are kind of concerned when it comes to the game and how it feels compared to previous Metroid Prime games. I know IGN and also VGC were concerned overall, but when it comes to the actual gameplay, when it comes to how Samus looks, when it comes to the powers and abilities, traditionally when it comes to a lot of things, that's great. Just some of the other stuff. But I still think based off of looking at this overview trailer and my own personal thoughts when it comes to what they can do to enhance the Metroid experience and try something new, I thought it looks really good. Very excited for this game. I think that it's going to be a high rated game at this point. And yeah, this is a must play. For me, it's a must buy, must play, even though I get a little bit dizzy whenever I play first person games and all of that. But I've got my Dramamine on deck. I'm going to be ready to play this on December 4th. So what do you guys think about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and what's happening with this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.